Okay, welcome to Back to School Night. I'm Sheila Kendall, one of the counselors, and I'm going to go ahead and introduce who our counselors are this year, and then I will do the first few slides and then hand it off to another counselor. So I'm Sheila Kendall. I work with students with the last names A through C. All the counselors are broken down by last names, and we work with students in grades 9 through 12. This is my 5th year at Wilson, and it's my 20th year as a counselor. Our next counselor is Keith Brown. He has been at Wilson for 15 years and 19 years as a counselor, and 32 years in education. And Julie Fleming is our next counselor, 14th year at Wilson and 15th year as a counselor. Danny Braddock is another one of our counselors. He's been at Wilson for 6 years, and this is his 13th year as a counselor. And Lauren Files, this is her 4th year at Wilson and her 13th year as a counselor. And I'm going to talk a little bit about how to reach your counselor. I think a lot of parents want to know how to solve some issues or who to get in touch with. And the easiest thing to do is to email your counselor for quick questions. Just send us a short email. Our email addresses are listed on our individual slides that I just went through. You can also request a meeting with your counselor through Google Meet or through Zoom. We can email back and forth to set up a time. If we want the student to be on the call, we want to do those meetings during asynchronous learning or during lunch or after school up until 3:45. Counselors are going to be getting work phones pretty soon, so we will be able to also call you, or you will be able to leave us a voicemail.
Okay, so I'm Danny Braddock. I'm one of the other counselors. So this is a pretty lengthy slide that I'm not going to read every word. So essentially what we do is we support students with academic, personal, and social challenges of high school. We don't tell them what to do or give orders, but we kind of help them make positive and healthy solutions. So we're also big into connecting students and families with resources. We might not be the direct provider of the resource, but we can usually get you connected with the right place to get the support that you need. We keep things confidential, and that's an important part of our ability to work with students in high school, but we do need everyone to know that we're mandatory reporters. So if there's ever a situation where someone's in danger, we're genuinely worried about safety, we do have to make a phone call, and that kind of goes beyond us. So safety is a huge priority for us. Doesn't often get to that, but when it does, we have to act in a student's best interest. We're here to support students, families, and staff in any way that we can. That could be a quick conversation. This year's a little different because everything's online. So email and Zoom and Meet are the way that we're able to do it. But typically we meet with kids. Could be an informal conversation in the hallway. It could be a scheduled appointment in our office. But we want to get to know you, and we want to get to know your student. So encourage them to talk to us. They don't have to have a problem or something doesn't have to be going wrong for them to talk to their counselor. They'll likely want a letter of recommendation from us. So it helps us to have a relationship that goes back 4 years versus one that's just a couple months. So get to know us. The schedule this year is pretty confusing. It's new. Instead of having our 8-period schedule that we usually have, it's a 4x4 schedule. So students have 4 classes at a time. So don't feel overwhelmed or too stressed. It's new for everybody. We're working through it. The nice thing about it is students will still earn the same number of credits for the year. So they're not going to be behind. They're still going to be on track with the number of credits. When we start, we'll talk about forecasting later on. But when students choose classes, it's really important for them to make sure that we're picking classes mindfully and carefully. So synchronous and asynchronous, you've probably heard those words about 1,000 times each at this point. Essentially, synchronous, we're working together. It's live instruction. It's everyone together working together, synchronized. Asynchronous could look different from class to class, but it's going to be, it might be group work, it might be working on your own, but it's not going to be everyone in lockstep working together. So with that, if you ever have questions about what your students should be doing, reach out to the teacher. You can reach out to us too if you need help with that, but we want to make sure that you're connecting with teachers if there's any confusion at this early stage of the school year. We want to get everyone off to a good start. So.
Hi, I'm Julie Fleming, and I'm going to go over 2 slides. The first one is learning tips for distance learning, and this is new for everybody, new for parents and students and teachers, and so we ask that everybody practice patience. We want to let you know that final grades like progress reports, quarter, and semester grades will be on Student View. If you want to see what your student is doing, look on campus with them. There should be a list and details from your teacher. We want to make sure that all students are using their PPS email. They shouldn't be logging in to their Google, to their Canvas without their PPS emails. Remind your kiddos about etiquette, right? Like muting their mics, getting dressed for the day, raising their hands. And like Danny said, our main priority is to help kids navigate through high school, to be their advocate. And so we will have multiple classroom presentations with students, and we'll work to develop their academic plans. My next slide is taking care of yourself, which is huge. So we want to make sure that everybody is, right? Teachers, students, and parents. We want to make sure everybody has a schedule. They're going to bed on time, getting up early enough to eat breakfast. Take breaks. So when your teachers offer you a break, take it. Go walk around the block, or I see on here, bake some cookies, or talk to a friend, do some yoga, stretch. But you got to take care of yourself because if we're not mentally and physically healthy, it's really difficult to do school.
So here are just some helpful resources. So Sharon Daly is the counseling secretary. She will be working remotely during this time, so best way to reach her would be through her email, sdaly@pps.net. One of her biggest jobs is working with transcripts. So you can see that listed. Those are some of her responsibilities and things that she can assist with. Another really important person in our building is Sarah Mathiasen. She's our attendance clerk. She is also working remotely, and so she enrolls and withdraws students. And you can also reach her about any attendance inquiries that you have after you've reached out to your students' teachers. Other ways to kind of have a pulse on what's happening at Wilson. Below you can find our Instagram, the counseling Instagram, to let you know that there is a Wilson parent Facebook. We also have PTA meetings every Thursday evening. And you can also find the links for the Wilson website as well as the district website. So parents of seniors. So we have moved away from what was Naviance, and we're using a new program called Maya Learning. So if you check through your emails, you should see a communication from Kelly Milford, who is our college and career coordinator, counseling coordinator. And so she had some important information in that email about Maya Learning. But this is how our students are going to store their resumes and their college applications. And that's actually now where they are going to ask for letters of recommendation, as was mentioned earlier by our counselors about the importance of getting to know our students a little bit better over these 4 years.
Okay, that's our whole presentation. Thank you for watching and enjoy the rest of Back to School Night.